All right, so welcome to another deep dive, everybody.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're going to be tackling, I think, one of history's biggest mysteries,
Yeah,
the Ark of the Covenant.
absolutely.
We've got Graham Hancock's book, The Sign and the Seal, to help us along the way here.
Great source.
This book dives into all sorts of historical and religious accounts, and we're going to use it to try and follow the Ark's journey, through time,
Yeah,
and maybe even get some clues as to where it could be today.
right. I mean, it's a challenge because it's not just a historical artifact we're talking about.
Right.
It's a symbol of faith, countless legends,
Yeah. Right?
and some even believe it to be a piece of lost technology.
Okay, so let's start with what we do know.
Okay.
The Bible mentions the Ark quite a bit, right up to the reign of King Solomon, and then poof, it just vanishes.
Yeah, and Hancock calls this the deafening silence that surrounds the Ark's disappearance.
Right.
You'd think something of such immense religious and historical importance,
Yeah.
would have left a clearer trail.
Absolutely.
This is what makes it so fascinating and why so many people have tried to find it.
Well, yeah, even Indiana Jones got in on that action.
Exactly.
You'd think there'd be some record or some clue.
Yeah.
But Hancock suggests that this silence might actually be on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, what if there was some kind of cover-up,
Oh.
maybe by priests or scribes to protect the location of the Ark?
Right.
Maybe they understood its true value.
It's a compelling theory, especially when you consider that the Ark wasn't just any religious artifact.
Yeah.
This was the symbol of God's presence among the Israelites.
Right.
It was the chest that contained the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
This wasn't something you would just misplace.
Right.
So
if there was a cover-up, where did they hide it?
right.
One of the most common claims is from Ethiopia, right?
Yeah.
They say that the Ark is in Aksum,
Right.
a city with very deep biblical connections.
Yes, the Ethiopian claim centers around the story of Menelik, who was supposedly the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba,
Oh, wow.
and the Kebra Nagast, an Ethiopian text, details how Menelik brought the Ark from Jerusalem to Aksum.
Huh.
There's even a 16th century account from a Portuguese priest, Francisco Alvarez, who claimed to have actually seen the Ark in Aksum.
Wow. That sounds pretty convincing, a first-hand account from someone who was there.
Yeah,
You can't really argue with that, can you?
well, not so fast.
Okay.
There are some holes in this theory.
Okay.
For one, what they present as the Ark in Aksum is a stone slab, not a chest, as described in the Bible.
Well, stone slab, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Well, an 18th century Scottish explorer, James Bruce, who actually traveled to Aksum,
Okay.
dismissed the Menelik story as just a fabulous legend.
Oh, wow.
So a stone slab.
Well, it turns out that the word Ark can refer to stone tablets in Ethiopian tradition.
Professor Edward Uhlendorf, a scholar of Ethiopian studies, pointed this out, suggesting that the object in Aksum might not actually be the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay, so even with the first-hand account and the Kebra Nagast, this Ethiopian claim might not be as solid as it seems.
Yeah.
But Ethiopia also has a very long history of Jewish tradition.
Yes,
Doesn't that give some weight to their claim?
it does.
They've got the Falashas, their Jewish community, who've been there for centuries.
The Falashas are a key piece of this puzzle,
Okay.
but maybe not in the way you might think.
Okay.
Their practices, especially animal sacrifice, point to a very early form of Judaism,
Uh-huh.
possibly even predating the Ark as we know it.
So you're saying that Jewish traditions might have arrived in Ethiopia through other means.
Right.
Maybe even before the supposed arrival of the Ark with Menelik.
That's a distinct possibility.
Okay.
In fact, historian Jacqueline Perrin theorized that there were Hebrew migrations into Ethiopia that were totally separate from the Menelik story.
Wow, okay. So the Ethiopian connection is more complicated than it seems at first glance.
It is.
But there's another group in Ethiopia that Hancock talks about, the Quimant.
Yes.
Yes.
Who are they?
The Quimants are fascinating because they represent this unique blend of Judaism and paganism.
Okay.
They're an Aga tribe. And like the Falashas, they have ancient roots in Ethiopia. They adhere to Old Testament dietary laws.
Okay.
But they also venerate sacred trees.
Wait, sacred trees. I thought that was more of a pagan practice.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what makes the Quimant so intriguing.
Okay.
They seem to have preserved practices that predate the more formalized Judaism that developed later.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Both the Quimant and the Falashes are subsections of the Aga tribe.
So they have shared origins,
Right.
which adds another layer to this whole idea of early Jewish migration into Ethiopia.
Exactly.
It seems like every time we get close to an answer, we uncover more questions.
That's right. And that brings us to what could be a crucial piece of the puzzle, the Elephantine Temple in Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. We're going from Ethiopia to Egypt now?
We are.
How does that tie into all of this?
This is where these seemingly disparate threads start to connect.
Okay.
The Elephantine Temple was built in the 7th century BC by a Jewish community living in Egypt,
Okay.
centuries before the Ark supposedly arrived in Ethiopia.
All right.
But here's the twist. It was destroyed in 410 BC,
Okay.
possibly by Egyptian priests who saw the temple's practices as pagan innovations.
So this Jewish temple was destroyed because it wasn't Jewish enough.
Yeah, essentially.
That's a strange turn of events.
Yeah.
What does this have to do with the Ark?
Right. Well, scholar Bigelow Porton proposed that this temple was actually built by priests fleeing persecution in Jerusalem during the reign of King Manasseh.
Okay.
Now, imagine this. What if these priests brought the Ark with them to Elephantine for safekeeping?
You're saying they might have fled Jerusalem with the Ark,
Right.
established a community in Egypt, and when that community was threatened, they had to move it again.
That's a fascinating possibility, isn't it?
It is.
And there's more.
Okay.
The Elephantine community, just like the Falashes in Ethiopia, practiced animal sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
This shared practice could indicate a cultural link, perhaps even suggesting a route the Ark could have taken south.
So we've got this potential connection between the Ark's disappearance from Jerusalem,
Yeah.
the Elephantine Temple, and the Falasha community in Ethiopia.
Uh-huh.
This is like a historical detective novel.
It is.
And it gets even more intriguing when we look at how the Ark is perceived and venerated in Ethiopia,
Yeah.
especially during the Timkat festival.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about that. What's so special about this festival?
During Timkat, which takes place in Gondar, Ethiopia, they parade replicas of the Ark called tabatat,
Okay.
with music, dancing, and an incredible display of reverence.
Wait, replicas?
Yes.
So they're not parading the actual Ark.
That's the key point. The tabatat are treated with the utmost respect and are believed to carry the essence of the Ark,
Okay.
but they're not the original.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah.
The Ark itself is always just out of reach,
Yes.
shrouded in mystery and legend.
Right?
It's like trying to grasp smoke.
That's a great way to put it.
But these replicas and the way they're treated, they tell us a lot about how Ethiopians view the Ark.
They do.
I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these Timkat processions and what they might reveal.
What's fascinating is that Hancock draws this parallel between these processions and ancient Egyptian processions that we see depicted on temple walls.
Okay.
Both exhibit this deep reverence for the Ark, this idea of Ark worship that seems to transcend time and cultures.
Hold on. Are you saying there's a connection between ancient Egyptian beliefs and this Ethiopian festival?
Yeah,
That's a pretty incredible thought.
it is.
It really makes you think about how these ancient beliefs and practices, they traveled and they transformed over time.
Yep.
But I got to ask, if the Ethiopians believe they have the Ark,
Yeah.
why all the secrecy? Why not just, show it to the world and prove their claim once and for all?
Well, that's where the Timkat Festival, I think, provides some insight.
Okay.
It's not just a celebration. It's a carefully, orchestrated act of faith.
Okay.
The tabatat, these replicas, are treated as if they are the Ark,
Oh, yeah.
carried with that same reverence and ceremony.
So are you saying that even if the Ark is in Ethiopia,
Yeah.
it's hidden away protected,
Right.
and these replicas are what people actually interact with?
Yeah.
That would explain the secrecy.
It's a possibility worth considering.
Yeah.
The Timkat Festival becomes this way to venerate the Ark
Right.
without revealing its true location.
Yeah.
And remember, we're talking about an object that's believed to hold immense power,
Right.
both spiritual and potentially physical.
Speaking of power,
Yeah.
this whole deep dive is making me think about the Ark in a whole new way. What if it wasn't just a religious relic?
Right.
What if it was something more?
Yeah.
Something technologically advanced that we just don't understand?
That's a question that has fascinated people for centuries.
Yeah.
And when you look at the biblical accounts,
Right.
it's hard not to wonder.
Yeah.
Parting the Red Sea, bringing plagues upon Egypt,
Uh-huh.
even leveling the walls of Jericho.
Right.
These events suggest a power that goes beyond, the ordinary.
Okay, but how could a wooden chest even one as elaborate as the Ark.
Right.
How could it do all that?
Yeah.
It sounds like we're talking science fiction here.
It does sound far-fetched.
Yeah.
I'll admit.
Yeah.
But Hancock explores the idea that Moses, who built the Ark according to the Bible,
Yeah.
might have been privy to Egyptian sacred science.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind that the ancient Egyptians were incredibly advanced
Mm-hmm.
in fields like astronomy, mathematics, and engineering.
So are we saying that Moses was like some ancient scientist
Right.
using advanced technology disguised as miracles?
That's a pretty wild theory.
It is.
It's a bold claim,
Yeah.
and one that requires a lot more evidence.
Right.
But think about it.
Okay.
What if their understanding of the natural world was far more sophisticated than we give them credit for?
Okay.
What if what we perceive as miracles were actually applications of advanced technology that have been lost to time?
Okay. I'm willing to entertain the possibility.
Yeah.
But how would that technology work?
Right.
What kind of power source could the Ark have possibly used?
Well, we're venturing into the realm of speculation here.
Okay.
But Hancock points to some intriguing details in the Ark's construction.
Okay.
Those cherubims on top, for example.
Yeah.
They're often depicted with these outstretched wings, as if they're conducting something.
I've always wondered about those cherubims. They
Yeah.
seem more significant than just decoration.
Right.
Are you suggesting they were part of the Ark's power source somehow?
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
What if they served as conductors, focusing or directing some unknown form of energy? And then there's the account of Uzzah,
Right.
who was struck dead when he touched the Ark.
Yeah.
The traditional interpretation, of course, is that he was punished for, disrespecting a holy object.
Right.
But you're suggesting it could have been something else entirely.
Yeah.
What if his death was the result of an accidental electrocution
Uh-huh.
or exposure to some kind of radiation?
Oh, wow.
Remember, the Ark was always transported very carefully,
Yeah.
carefully covered and insulated.
Right.
It's almost as if they knew it was capable of causing harm if not handled properly.
Now that's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what secrets the Ark might hold.
Right.
Speaking of secrets,
Yeah.
Hancock actually went to Ethiopia himself
He did.
during the Civil War in 1991 to
Right.
try and find the Ark.
That's dedication.
It is?
He faced all sorts of challenges,
Yeah.
navigating dangerous territory,
Yeah.
encountering resistance from authorities,
Mhm.
all in pursuit of this ancient mystery. It's really a testament to the enduring power of the Ark
Yeah.
and its ability to inspire such a quest.
And did he find it? Was he able to see the Ark with his own eyes?
He made it to Axum,
Wow.
to the very chapel where the Ark is supposedly kept,
Mhm.
and he even managed to meet with the priest who guards it.
Oh, wow.
But after all of his efforts,
Yeah?
he was denied access.
Oh, wow.
The mystery remained unsolved.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So close yet so far.
Right.
It really makes you wonder what the priest knows.
Yeah.
And why they're so determined to keep the Ark hidden.
It adds another layer to this already complex and fascinating story.
Right.
We're dealing with ancient traditions,
Uh-huh.
religious beliefs,
Right.
and potentially knowledge that has been lost for centuries.
Okay, so we've got this very compelling mystery on our hands.
We do.
But let's try to unpack what we've learned so far.
Yeah.
First, the Ark's disappearance from the biblical narrative is just too convenient. It
Yeah.
points to a deliberate cover-up, right?
It's a reasonable conclusion.
And then we have the Ethiopian claim,
Yeah.
which, while intriguing, has some inconsistencies.
Right.
The object they present as the Ark doesn't match the biblical description.
Yeah.
And the way people interpret the word Ark raises some serious doubts.
Uh-huh.
But we can't ignore the long and complex Jewish history in Ethiopia.
Absolutely not.
The Falashas and the Quement suggest that Jewish traditions might have arrived there long before the Ark supposedly did.
Who's that?
And then there's the Elephantine Temple,
Yeah.
which adds another layer of possibility.
Right.
What if the Ark was taken south for safety after the temple's destruction?
Uh-huh.
It's a theory that fits the evidence we've seen so far.
It does.
And let's not forget the Timkat Festival,
Right.
with its intriguing parallels to ancient Egyptian processions.
Yeah.
It makes you think about, how beliefs and practices travel across cultures and time?
It's a fascinating aspect of this story,
Yeah.
and one that highlights the interconnectedness of human history. We're not just dealing with isolated events here.
Right.
We're dealing with this web of influences that spans continents and millennia.
And then there's this possibility that the Ark was more than just a religious object.
Right.
What if it was, evidence of some lost knowledge?
Yeah.
some advanced technology that we just can't wrap our heads around.
It's a possibility that's hard to ignore,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the Ark's seemingly supernatural powers.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Wow.
The Ark is still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever find it?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it?
It is.
But maybe the search itself is just as important as the destination. You know, that process of uncovering clues, piecing together fragments of history,
Yeah.
and confronting the unknown.
Yeah.
That's what makes this journey so compelling.
It's like we're on our own quest, following in the footsteps of everyone who's been captivated by this mystery.
Exactly. And who knows? Maybe one day someone will stumble upon the Ark and the world will finally have its answers.
Right.
But until then,
Yeah.
the mystery continues to inspire us to dig deeper,
Yeah.
to question our assumptions,
Right.
and to wonder about the secrets hidden in the past.
Well said. But let's be real here.
Okay.
Even if we entertain this idea of the Ark as some kind of super advanced technology,
Yeah.
how would that even work?
Right.
What kind of power could it have possibly possessed?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think that something built so long ago could have that kind of power.
I know. It's really something.
You know, it makes you question everything we think we know about ancient civilizations.
It does. It really challenges our understanding of what they were capable of.
So are we talking like some sort of energy beam
Yeah.
or sonic waves? What could explain, these events?
Yeah, that remains a mystery. But
Yeah.
Hancock explores some pretty interesting possibilities.
Okay.
Remember those cherubims on top of the Ark?
Yeah.
They're often shown with those outstretched wings, almost like they're conducting something.
Right.
What if they were actually part of a system
Okay.
to, harness or direct some form of energy that we don't understand?
Yeah, I've always been curious about those cherubim.
Yeah,
They just seem, more important than just decoration.
right.
So you're saying they might have been a way to focus or even amplify the Ark's power?
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's that story of Uzzah,
Oh, yeah.
who died when he touched the Ark.
Right. The traditional interpretation is that he was punished
Right.
for, disrespecting a holy object.
Yeah, but what if it was something else?
Exactly. What if he was accidentally electrocuted
Yeah.
or exposed to some kind of radiation?
Right, because they were always so careful transporting it,
Exactly.
covered, insulated.
As if they knew it could cause harm if not handled properly.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky when you think about it that way.
It is a little bit, yeah.
So could the Ark be more than just, a religious relic?
Yeah.
Could it be like evidence of a lost civilization? Some technology that was way ahead of its time.
It's a really intriguing possibility.
It is. It really is.
And, if that were true, it would completely change our understanding of history.
Right. It's not just some missing artifact.
Right.
It's a whole new chapter in human history.
Exactly. And that's what makes this mystery so captivating.
It really does.
It makes us reconsider everything we think we know about the past.
Right.
And realize there might be things out there that we haven't even begun to understand.
This whole deep dive has been a whirlwind.
I know, right?
Ancient biblical accounts, lost technology,
Yeah.
Ethiopian highlands, the banks of the Nile.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
And I think it shows us something important,
What's that?
that the search for knowledge never really ends. There's
Yeah.
always more to learn,
Right.
more connections to make
Yeah.
more mysteries to unravel.
So what do you think happened to the Ark? Do you think we'll ever find it?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe the search is just as important as actually finding it.
Yeah.
Exploring these ancient mysteries,
Mhm.
trying to piece together history,
Uh-huh.
challenging what we think we know.
Yeah.
That's what's really valuable.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up.
Yeah,
So listeners, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant.
it's been a pleasure.
Full of twists and turns, ancient secrets, the possibility of lost knowledge.
Absolutely.
What do you think happened to the Ark?
Ooh,
Could it be more than just a religious relic? We want to know what you think.
we do.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.